Welcome to Recovery Room, your backstage pass to everything happening at Timiskaming Hospital.
Whether it's new programs, groundbreaking initiatives, or the amazing people working behind the scenes, we're here to keep you in the loop about all things healthcare in our community.
So pull up a chair, relax, and join us as we take you through the heart of Timiskaming Hospital, where healing happens and every story matters.
Let's dive into today's episode and discover what's new, exciting, and making a difference right here at home.
Good morning and welcome to the Recovery Room. I'm Chrissy, and today I have two guests. So I have Christian and Laura. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Pretty good. Thanks for having us.
Good. So can you introduce yourself to our viewers very quickly?
Of course. So I'm Christian Etier. I've been here at the hospital for 4 years, and I'm the purchaser.
I'm Laura, and I've been at the hospital for 16 years, but only 2 years as a buyer.
Amazing. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. Okay, so let's go. So Christian, can you start off by telling us a little bit about your role as a buyer?
Of course. So I would say, to put it simply, as buyers, our job is to source and purchase all of the items that the hospital requires on a daily basis. So included in that would be items that most people may not think about, such as like pens and paper and office supplies. And this then goes to disposable clinical items that the nurses use on the floor every day. And in addition to that could be large ticket capital items like ultrasound units, mammography units, ECG units, vital signs monitors, things like that. So our job is managing all of those things.
So you buy all of the things?
Buy all of the things, yeah. Well, Laura and I, we purchase different parts out of that list, but like we all kind of contribute to that total item list.
Okay, so you're shopping all day long.
Pretty much shopping all day long, yeah. So if you're into shopping, I mean, it's a pretty good role to have.
It's the dream job, honestly. Okay, Laura, what does a typical day look like for a hospital buyer?
We don't really have typical days. We start off like we have a plan, but I find that every day is different. I think that's kind of why I love my position, because though I start off with a plan on dealing with back orders or inventory items that I need to get, but there's always something that comes along my desk that says we need this now and this has changed, and it keeps you on your toes.
Never the same.
Never the same, no.
Okay, not a bad thing.
No, I love it.
Okay, so Christian, what are some key factors that you look for when choosing a vendor or supplier?
Yeah, so a big factor would be quality. That's probably the first one I would say. We're purchasing products for a hospital, so we need to make sure that all the products we're purchasing are up to industry standard. The second point I would say is price, and that's a pretty obvious one, I would say. This goes along with all the contracts that we have. So we like to make sure, in terms of price, that all the items we're purchasing are under contract, because then we'll get contract pricing, and typically that'll help save the hospital money compared to purchasing elsewhere and off contract. Another point would be reliability and availability. So if a supplier can't keep up with our requests and our quantity needs and our lead time and ETA requirements, we would look elsewhere. So I would say those are some main factors.
Okay, great. And Laura, how is technology influencing the purchasing decisions within our hospital?
Oh, it does a lot. So technology gives us access to other hospitals to share items. So being a smaller facility, sometimes we don't need a bulk order of something, so we can share that, which is really, really nice. It changes what I buy as well, because everything's always improving and changing. So, I mean, it's good because we can give better care to our patients and make it so that it's not a painful process, or it's a smoother transition. The other thing, though, is because technology is advancing so much, we're constantly having to upgrade and get to ministry standards and keeping on top of that. So we really have to research and keep on top of our toes for that.
That's difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, and Christian, how do you collaborate with other departments to make purchasing decisions?
That's a good question. So on almost every purchase, we're collaborating with the managers and the clinical staff here. I would say that if it's a request that's being sent to us that we've ordered many times in the past, we don't need to look into it as much because we already have the item numbers in the system and we just place the order. A lot of times approvals are already in the requisition templates or like in our Meditech ordering systems anyway, so we just place the order and it's easy that way. But other times we may have to place an order that requires a lot more information, and if it's an item that we haven't purchased in the past, which I get quite a bit, especially with maintenance. I'm not a big maintenance guy. I don't know too much about that side of things, so I'm always asking Len and the boys to get me more information so we can get this thing going. But yeah, there's always collaboration with the departments, especially when there's more to the purchase than we know about. So yeah.
There's a lot of learning.
There's a lot of learning for sure.
Good. Okay. And Laura, how do you ensure that the products purchased align with the needs of the clinical team?
I find the best way to do that is end user. So if something's back ordered and I need to order a substitute of some sort, I usually ask for samples and take it to the nurses or to the team and say, will this work with what you need to do with it? And I also find learning what the instrument and or item is used for really helps me narrow down the selection of what we can bring in for them while we wait for whatever back order or discontinuation.
Okay, so you could pretty much be a nurse at this point.
Yeah, I can afford do operations right now.
Yeah. And Christian, what advice would you give new buyers entering the field of hospital procurement?
So I had to think about this one because I wasn't sure where to go with it. But I would say, as someone who wasn't planning on being a purchaser when I got out of school, like I didn't know what I wanted to do. And it just came about that this job was offered and it just worked out that way. I find, since being here for 4 years, that organizational skills are good to have. I was always a relatively organized person, but I feel like with all the contracts that we have now and all of the different purchases that we have to make, it's nice to be organized and to be able to find something when you need it. So definitely having organizational skills would help, and to work on that if you want to be a purchaser.
Great. Now, a very important question. So how much golf are we planning on doing this summer?
Oh, a lot.
So much golf. And Brent Gabani better let us have some extra days off to play some extra rounds. I'm just going to put that out there.
Absolutely. I think that's more of a team building thing,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we really need to do that.
I
Yes,
should be part of this.
obviously.
And maybe a couple practice rounds in before the hospital fundraiser tournament next year, like just a couple days off.
Smart. I love that. And any golf tips for our viewers? I mean, we're professionals here.
Swing hard in case you hit it. It's a good one.
That's some great advice.
When I learned that from, I forget if it was Greg Brazo or I forget, but that's a good one. I take that with me. Yeah.
I love that one. And Laura, any?
Distraction. Make sure everybody's looking somewhere else when you shoot.
Okay. I would say cute outfits help.
Yes, you're right. That's a better idea.
Okay. Now, speaking of golf, I just have a really quick question. Christian, I found this on your desk. Is there a reason why you have this on your desk?
So I think I look pretty good in that photo. So when people come in the office, I like to show them my, what is that on my shirt anyways? Is that like a parrot? I don't know, but I think it looks like it looks like a FootJoy model or something like that on the cover of it. So I like to keep it in my office. But no, quick plug, I give individual golf lessons. So summer 2025, if anyone is interested, reach out to the Pro Shop.
Okay. And is there anyone else that you'd like to see on this podcast?
Oh, I would love to see Brent Gabani. Yeah.
Brent Gabani would be my first choice too.
He gives us great advice, and I love how organized and how he can see different perspectives on things when we have problems. So yes.
Yeah, he's very good to have around. He's been our boss for a while now, and he knows his stuff, and I'm sure he'd be able to add some good points to this podcast for sure.
We might need to bribe him to get here, but we'll do our best. Okay, anything else that you'd like to talk about, or is there anyone that you'd like to mention to say thank you or anything like that?
I did want to mention one thing about being a purchaser. Networking is very important on the golf course.
Yes,
obviously. But being close with your reps for different companies and distributors is really good, because then it helps you with problems. And because of networking, Timiskaming Hospital was one of the first hospitals in Canada to try out a new set of needle drivers just out of Germany. And that's because the rep Mike and I have a really good relationship, Christian too, and so he made sure that it happened for us. So
That's great advice. I love that.
yeah, yeah. So networking is very important.
It's a really good one. I think I'll leave it at that, to be honest. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being on this podcast. It wasn't too bad, right? You guys nailed it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much and have the best day.